once again. It is me, Henry. I'm sorry to interrupt your day on a Friday once again, but the world still is quite an unequal place, and we do have the power to change it. So I am unfortunately coming at you once again live to hassle you about giving to charities. My name is Henry. I am a doctor working in regional Australia, Yorta country. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Giving half my income this year to charities all around the world, trying to make the world a better place, because it's probably the right thing to do. We've been incredibly lucky to have been born in Australia. Of all the places in the world, we probably have more opportunities than almost anywhere else to live a good life, to live the life that we want to live. We have the power to make the world a better place, is the thing as well. You know, there are things we can actually do right now to significantly improve other people's lives. And, you know, if we choose not to do that, that might be the wrong thing to do. I'm giving to great charities all year, and I'm giving even more to really, really great charities. And a lot of these really, really great ones are working in developing countries where basic necessities, basic essentials are just completely missing. And they can be quite cheap to implement, to replace. We have an enormous power to make the world a better place, and I think we should probably do it. I've given to 3 different organisations over this paycheck, which is a bit delayed. It was actually between the 2nd and the 15th of August. I'm giving to the Malaria Consortium, I'm giving to the International Rescue Committee, and I'm giving to Camp Quality. The Malaria Consortium is one of these international organisations. They work in developing areas to supply basic necessities that maybe we take for granted. In this case, malaria medication. The Malaria Consortium works mainly in areas of the world where malaria is a problem. Malaria is a terrible disease, kills over 400,000 people every year, and most of those are kids, because kids are the most susceptible to malaria. Malaria Consortium, they do a whole lot of things actually. They work in all sorts of things, disease policy development as well as research, but and even in diseases, malaria is not the only thing they do. They also do dengue, pneumonia, diarrhea, and neglected tropical diseases. Malaria is their kind of flagship thing though, and then what they spend most of their money on is the malaria chemo prevention, which is where you go to places, you just hand out malaria prevention medication, incredibly cheap, and people take it, and it stops them when they get stung by a mosquito carrying the malaria parasite. They're less likely to catch malaria from it. It means that people don't get malaria, they're not out of work, they don't die. It's an incredibly cost-effective strategy for improving people's lives and preventing deaths. You're saving lives with this charity on the order of a few $1,000s. And once you realise that you can save lives on the order of a few $1,000s approximately, it becomes very difficult day to day to kind of think about spending money on anything else. What an incredible power we have to make the world a better place. So I'm very happy to give them another $1,500. And the next thing I want to talk about is the International Rescue Committee. The situation in Afghanistan is something that a lot of people are thinking a lot about. It's in the news all over the place. I try to avoid giving to things that just happen to be in the news, because lots of disasters, emergencies, tragedies don't show up in the news, but still require our attention. But there's also an opportunity in emergencies sometimes for really cost-effective, helpful interventions that maybe don't require a lot of us. You know, maybe a few dollars or a helping hand could mean the difference between life or death for someone in Afghanistan at the moment, which means there's incredible opportunities to help. It's always hard to know in an emergency situation, though, exactly what will be useful, because situations are so rapidly evolving and there's so many players, and who knows really what's going on where. I've been following this group called #AfghanEvac. I've been seeing this on Twitter and different forums around the place. They're this collaborative group of development organisations, national security specialists, what's it called, intelligence specialists, veterans, that they're trying to collect, and politicians as well, mainly all based in the US, and they're trying to coordinate evacuating at-risk people from Afghanistan. So that's foreign citizens, but also people who have been collaborating with the occupying forces for the last 20 years, people who are at risk of getting executed by the Taliban as traitors. I pledged a couple of weeks ago about $500 to Afghan evac. I'm saying, look, whatever they need, I'm happy to donate to. They've gotten back to us and have said probably the best thing that we can give to at the moment is this other organisation called the International Rescue Committee. International Rescue Committee doesn't really do the evacuation stuff, because I think maybe Afghan evac has that covered with other funds, but they're suggesting that we give to the International Rescue Committee, which is a little bit unclear exactly what they do and what they're going to be doing in Afghanistan. They've certainly been there for a long time in Afghanistan, doing stuff like providing shelter, education, clean water and medicines to people in bad situations. A little bit unclear exactly where they're going to be operating in Afghanistan once, I guess, as the situation unfolds. Are they going to be operating in the refugee camps of people that escape Afghanistan? Maybe it's not entirely clear. So I'm relying a lot on just the kind of expert opinion of Afghan evac here, that the International Rescue Committee is something worthwhile giving to. And so I'm going to give them, I'm giving them $500 which equates to about $720 Australian. And then the last organisation I'm giving to this paycheck is Camp Quality, which is a beautiful organisation. Camp Quality, they focus on childhood cancers, and what they do is they go to hospitals, they provide entertainment and relief for kids suffering from cancer, and they provide relief for their families as well. They run camps where kids with cancer or kids in families suffering from cancer can go and spend time and meet other kids who are in similar situations, and just kind of gives them a little bit of their childhood back, I think, is the idea. They provide support to the families. They also go out to schools. I think these guys came to my school when I was in primary school and told us about cancer and what it means. It's a beautiful organisation. They do beautiful work. And they've pivoted during COVID to a bunch of online stuff as well. The main reason I'm only giving them $30 is because, my God, they spend a lot on fundraising. Holy jeez. They spend about $3.6 million on fundraising. They spent this in 2020 of their $10.8 million revenue. And they also, on marketing and communications, independently of fundraising, they also spend another $600,000. So that adds up in total, marketing and fundraising, to about $4.3 million of $10.8 million. They're basically spending 40% of everything you give them on fundraising and marketing, which is, it doesn't feel great. I think spending money on fundraising, the downside is that it makes people lose faith in charities. It's actually quite an insidious thing to do, or the effect is insidious. It erodes people's trust. If you talk to people about charities, a common response is, oh, why would I give to charities? They just spend all their money on admin and fundraising. I mean, this kind of thing that organisations do is why people just don't give to charities at all. It's a terrible tragedy. It's a downside of fundraising, but the change has to come from us, ultimately, because for some reason, a lot of us, we have money that we can give, but we wait for people to beg us for it, to ask us for the money before we give it, which I think is really unfortunate, considering that we could be doing so much more. We could be saving organisations so much in fundraising costs by just giving without being asked. So I think we should all consider trying to do our own research, go out, find organisations that are doing great work, that maybe aren't spending as much on fundraising. And if we all did that, then we could save a lot of effort, a lot of time, and we could make much better informed decisions about who we're giving to as well. I'd really like to hear from anyone out there on what your thoughts are on who I'm giving to, who I'm not giving to, who are great organisations that I should be giving to. all the best until next time. Much love. Peace.